Mira was a little girl, about 10 years old, who lived with her parents in a house with 2 floors. Her room was upstairs. From her window, she could see the house across the street. It belonged to a man who nobody really knew. He sometimes acted very friendly, smiling and talking with neighbors, and other times he walked past without a word. Nobody understood his behavior. Mira, however, was curious. She wanted to know why he acted that way. Her family was Christian, and sometimes Mira woke up at midnight for her private vigil prayers. She prayed quietly in her room while the house slept. One night, at exactly 1 in the morning, she heard something unusual. It was a bell, not loud but warm and soft. Ding, 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 3 times. Mira froze. She was certain the sound came from the man's house across the street. But why would a bell ring at that hour? The next morning, she watched the man leave his house. He was excited, smiling, greeting everyone on the street. It seemed normal to others, but Mira noticed the pattern. She remembered the 3 rings of the bell and thought, maybe that's why he is happy. A few nights later, while she prayed at 1 a.m., the bell rang again. This time, it rang only once. In the morning, the man looked sad. He did not greet anyone. He barely spoke. Mira realized that the bell sound might be controlling or affecting his moods. Something strange was happening, something she needed to understand. One night, she decided she must find out what was going on. This time, she did not wake up for prayer. She woke up to observe. She stayed by her window, watching the man's house. Her eyes were sharp. She noticed him leave the house. That was her chance. She waited until she was sure he was gone. Then she quietly climbed down from her bed, tiptoed downstairs, and slipped out without her parents noticing. She went straight to his house. She had seen him leave through the back before, so she went there. She found a small window and quietly slipped inside. The house smelled old and dusty. Everything seemed messy and unkempt. Mira looked around carefully. The only thing that seemed important was a bell sitting on a table in the middle of the room. She moved closer to it, trying to see what made it special. Suddenly, she heard the door. The man had returned. Mira panicked. She hid behind an old shelf, pressing herself into the corner. The man stepped inside, sniffed the air, and said, humans are smelling here. Mira held her breath. But no humans should be in my house. Could it be the smell from outside? He muttered. Then he turned and went straight to his room. Mira did not follow him. She stayed hidden, terrified. She had no idea what he was doing, but she knew she could not be caught. Hours passed. The house was dark, except for the small light from the street outside. Mira stayed crouched behind the shelf. Finally, at 1 a.m., she saw him leave his room and go to the table with the bell. He stood in front of it and began chanting. She could not hear the words. They were low and strange, almost hypnotic. The shadow from the street light showed his figure moving carefully over the bell. Mira watched, frozen with fear. Then, slowly, the man disappeared. Not by walking away, not by hiding, he simply vanished. Mira's eyes widened. She could not believe what she saw. After a minute, the bell rang 3 times. Ding, ding, ding. Mira's stomach twisted. She knew what that meant. He would be happy in the morning. But what had happened while she was hiding? Where had he gone? She stayed hidden until 6 a.m. The sunlight made the room bright enough for her to move. Mira carefully crawled from behind the shelf and searched the house. The bedroom, the bathroom, under the bed, the wardrobe, he was nowhere. Mira's heart pounded. She had to leave. She went back through the same window she entered, slipped outside, and ran back to her room. She climbed upstairs and closed the door. Her parents were still asleep. She sat by her window, trembling, and watched the house across the street. At exactly 7 a.m., the man came out. He looked excited and cheerful, just like before. He greeted neighbors, laughed, and waved. Mira's mind raced. How was this possible? She had searched the house from top to bottom. She had seen him disappear. And now he was outside, acting normal. What was the bell? What had she seen? Was he human? Should she tell anyone? Should she tell her parents? She did not know what to do. Her heart felt heavy and her stomach was filled with fear and confusion. Mira stayed by her window, watching him. Every smile, every step, every gesture puzzled her. The bell had revealed something, but she did not yet understand what. And deep inside, she knew one thing: the mystery was far from over. If you enjoyed this story, kindly click the subscribe button.